What is happening, road dogs and highway hounds? Got William Bentley Blackburn, Chris, and me trying to figure out what in the heck's going on here. Screen share is going crazy. But I saw an interesting article about Ethereum. You see that? Everything working all right, guys? Are you guys there?
Yeah,
Hello.
we're good, man.
All right, say hi.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
So, I do believe we're live. If not,
Sure
we'll be
are.
talking to ourselves for about 30 minutes. But no, I just seen this article and I was like, I just told William, I sent him a text that said, "What about Bitcoin and Litecoin?" I said, "It's boring."
Nice.
Money should be boring, right? So I was like, that ain't nothing. And then right after that, I see this article and I was like, well, it just got interesting. Ethereum style smart contracts now applicable on Bitcoin network thanks to RSK Labs in Argentina. Now, you guys have been watching me for a while. You know that I said screw Ethereum. It was unfairly released. And Bitcoin and Litecoin will get smart contracts. It will scale. It will be fine. And don't worry about it. Just buy and hold your Bitcoin and Litecoin and just let the technology catch up. Because that's what things do. So, Ethereum, I'm going to read this article. It's in the link down below this video, so you can click on there and read it from Crypto Lines. They're kind of pushy, and they want you to sign up and like have push notifications sent for your cell phone just because they're pushy. But Rootstock smart contract, RSK Labs down in Argentina. Who's that? Sergio Lerner and Henry Stragman. And the CEO down there, oh man, I can't remember his name right offhand, but it says Rootstock Smart Contracts, RSK, a platform fueled by the Bitcoin network, has integrated a multi-token digital platform and cryptocurrency wallet on decentralized Jax. RSK has been keen on innovations targeting on the financial system. Early this year, they launched a mainnet network extracted from the blockchain network, keeping their pace on innovations. They have already launched a new platform that makes it possible through the RSK Lab open source platform to run smart contracts that are derivatives of Ethereum on the Bitcoin network. You can read the whole article if you want to. But see, now all of the stuff that's been developed on Ethereum can go to a more fairly released cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin and Litecoin. And what do you guys think about that? Anything? You got thoughts or what?
Chris, I'll let you go first. I have a couple comments here.
I was gonna say you go ahead. I'm trying to figure everything out here. I got the chat room open. I'm watching. I see Vention1 is watching. I'm not sure.
Vention Megtel?
Yeah, we got to get him on the hangout here.
I'm gonna send him an invite.
I watch all his videos, by the way, Vention.
I know he's a cool dude. he's a mechanic out Seattle way.
Yep.
So let me figure this out here. Am I screen sharing?
Yeah. I see you.
What the?
Oh, not your screen. I see. Yeah, when we talk, it comes up.
Let's see if I got Vention on the thing. So
with this article here, I mean, it looks like there's being progress made with RSK, right? I mean, at the very least, we're seeing some progression with smart contracts on the Bitcoin network. You got to give them that. But I wonder, why did they use Jax? I mean, Jax kind of seemed, from my understanding, and I could be wrong on this, but I saw a couple articles maybe a few months ago, could have been even further back, but there were different controversies regarding Jax. There was some vulnerabilities, there were some issues, some of the developers weren't wanting to play nice with some of the users regarding this hack, their vulnerability. I don't know if those have been fixed or not. Quite frankly, I'm not sure. But I do know that there are those questions that have to be asked. I do think that RSK has great potential, though. I mean, it's as far as as far as outdoing Ethereum as a smart contract platform. But Ethereum, the problem with Ethereum is that it's not just a smart contract platform. It's also, and I've mentioned this before in a couple of my other videos, it's also aimed at creating a global, if you will, computer that's based in the cloud. You know, with everything nowadays in IT and technology, a lot of people are moving to the cloud. They're moving to decentralized computing, decentralized networks. It's all virtual computing, all virtual networking. It's all moving virtual. Ethereum aims to build onto that platform. They're not really aiming to build just smart contracts. They're also looking to build uh, giant networks, mesh computing networks, and it could be an issue as from an aspect of security, from an aspect of privacy, from an aspect of we don't know what the true intentions are of people who want to use it. I've personally mentioned that Vitalik tends to look like he gets in bed with some snakes, and I don't know if I fully trust him um, at this time. I really don't.
You shouldn't fully trust anybody, you know.
Oh, absolutely. No, I totally agree with you on that. But Vitalik is having a special place
You know
as
what's
far as
interesting to me is I looked one time, like I was like digging deep on like some Litecoin, Litecoin. I think it was like a Reddit feed or something like that. And I was kind of reading along in there or something, and Vitalik was right there in the beginning, you know. But he just came off as very arrogant, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just, you know, when you're good at something, it's hard to it's a rare commodity to be humble about it. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I mean,
Vitalik is
I
you
think
got to give
Einstein
him
didn't
that.
take himself too seriously, but you know, everybody knows he's brilliant. You know what I'm saying?
You got to give him his dues. He's a smart guy. You have to give him that. But I
But
worry that
it never ceases to amaze me how some smart people can be so stupid. You know what I'm saying?
that is such the truth. Everybody, you know, it's just that is so true. And I'm worried that's going to be the case with Vitalik is that he is so smart that he's going to let his smarts get the best of him, you know,
Yeah,
and he's
not
going to step into a bear trap and he's going to get snapped pretty bad.
exactly. I mean, there's value in everybody. You know, it takes the truckers, it takes the mechanics, it takes the engineers. But you know, I was delivering a piece at a power plant, you know, that these engineers made, you know, and designed, and they were all excited, you know, and it was a trucker, me, sitting on the dock, and about, you know, two laborers, you know, with a crane, you know, and it was like, you know, we've loaded and unloaded these trucks forever. And, you know, me and the laborers are sitting there, and the engineers come running over like, oh, you guys, like that. And we're like, what? And they're like measuring and calculating on how to, you know, get this piece up there. I mean, we throw it on there, we lift it up. If one side's down, we move it a little bit this way, and it's like, oh, three, okay, there it is.
You make it
You know,
nice
we
and
do,
simple. Don't
yeah,
overcomplicate it. Keep
yeah.
it simple.
Those guys, you know, they're so smart, you know, but it took them 3 hours to do what we could have had done in 5 minutes, you know.
It tends to be the case with any government related project. It always takes longer than it should. You know, you build a bridge, it takes 2, 3, 5 years. It took a year to build the Empire State Building. Why does it take 5 years to build a little bridge? It's crazy. Like here in Atlanta, you had a bridge that was built, just a small little walkway bridge. It took them like 2 years to build this bridge, and then it collapsed and fell. You know, they're great. They're smart people. I see where they're coming from, but gosh, they don't know. They just have no clue how to build stuff, and they throw politics into it. They throw bureaucracy into it, and just not to get off on too much of a tangent here, I'll bring it back around. With Vitalik, I think he's going to do kind of fall into the same category of super intelligent, but he's overlooking some of the simple stuff, like you
Common
know
sense.
what are people going to use his invention for? What are the true intentions of people that want to use Ethereum? We don't know because it's all behind closed doors. It's hush hush. We don't know. It's quiet, and like I say, you got to give him his dues. But I don't think
And
he's
see, when you're into something like that, you know, you get warped. You know, like computer guys, you know, you know, computers are an asset. You know, I mean, my smartphone here, and we're doing what we're doing. You know, it's totally revolutionized my life. You know, the smartphone. But you know, it has to serve me. I don't
right.
serve it. And so, And now, especially in the trucking industry, which is what I'm in, these e-logs and things like that are, they think computers are the answer to everything. So now you hear them talking about driverless trucks. Okay, driverless trucks. Okay, so what's that mean? Well, they're still going to have a driver in there. It's just going to drive. And then when it has to get into something complicated, then the driver will get in there and take over and do his thing. Okay, now let me tell you a story. I'm riding down the interstate. I'm fully loaded, 80,000 pounds, and we're rocking and rolling. You know what I'm saying? And I got two trucks in front of me, one right alongside of me, and two right behind me. Well, I'm boxed in, and I'm like that. You know what happened? I'm driving along, and that right front steer tire blew.
Ooh,
And I
worst
went,
time.
boom, like that. And the truck on the right-hand side of me just slowed down, and he went back. And I'm holding that truck on the road. And then I just kind of eased it over onto the shoulder, and I pulled off. Now, what's going to happen if the driver is sitting in a driverless truck and that front steer tire blows and he's back in the, back making him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, watching Looney Tunes? Yeah, that sucker, he ain't going to keep it on the road. Yeah, a truck can do it. A driverless truck can watch things, but it's those split moments.
Yeah.
When the skills of a driver come in,
I
because
think
every
it's going
once
to be a while.
Well, hey, they just
yeah.
had their first driverless car death the other day.
Exactly.
There's going to be a lot of people dying from it. And I tell you what, I haven't been driving very much because I've been working the business and stuff, and things are picking up. But I went on the road with somebody today, and now they've got this e-log mandate. And I don't know if you guys know what that is,
No.
but it's basically, you have your log book, and now, and it used to be you could kind of fudge with it, and mess around. But now they've got it computerized so that there is no, you cannot cheat it. So in the first 50 miles, I passed 3 semis sitting on the shoulder of the truck, or on the interstate, and I'm like, what is going on here? And it dawned on me what was going on. These guys are sitting there taking their 30-minute break because they can't get to the exit to take their 30-minute break. So they have to shut down on the interstate, or they're going to get a violation, and there's no way to deny it. So now you're getting semis. When you see a semi parked alongside of the road, that's probably what they're doing, is taking their 30-minute break and acting like their truck's broke because they don't want to get a violation. Now, how many people are going to have to die and run up underneath the back of a parked semi on the side of the road because these computers can control people perfectly? You know what I mean? It takes the common sense. It takes the
human element out.
Yeah, it takes the human element out. And, I'm sorry to say, but, computers aren't the answer to everything. They just aren't.
That is what we call planned obsolescence. They try to make humans obsolete by enacting certain laws, certain rules, to make it so you don't have a choice. It's like it's more profitable for a robot to drive the car than it is for a human to drive the car.
Exactly, but profit ain't everything.
No, I agree. No,
and absolutely. See, a lot of people are telling me, "Oh man, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money." Well, the motto for my company is freedom for all. That's all I want.
Free trade and commerce.
Yeah, money ain't the only measure. Everybody thinks money's the measure. Money ain't the measure. It's freedom. It's freedom to be at peace. Freedom to take your kids out for a burger when you want to celebrate Christmas and Easter and whatever you do. But money's a tool to do that. But if money's your measure for all things, then man, I'm sorry, but you got an empty life.
I agree with that.
Yep.
I mean, there are some advantages, and I'm not going to completely, and I guess because of my mind, I at least try to look at both sides here. With driverless vehicles, to a certain extent, we probably will need that type of technology well into the future. And now, I don't want to get too far off the deep end here, but you hear people talking about going to Mars, going to colonize the moon, colonize Mars, going all over the place. You got Elon Musk sending rockets up into space. You got NASA talking about sending people into space. You got Trump even saying, "Hey, we're going to put boots on Mars in the next 6, 7, 8 years." That's right around the corner. Well, you can't have somebody sitting at the helm of the spaceship for 6 months. You just can't do it. I mean, they estimate that the time to get to Mars is going to be 6 months. You're going to need some sort of driverless technology in a spaceship, because you're going to have some guidance with that.
Yeah.
But with cars, with vehicles, that makes things a little different. There's a little bit of a difference here, because you've got a whole lot of people surrounded in traffic. I mean, I live near Atlanta. You can only imagine having driverless vehicles in there.
Oh my gosh.
You couldn't. I mean, it would be a nightmare. It'd be horrible.
It's a nightmare. It is a nightmare.
It's a nightmare in general. I mean,
Atlanta is a legendary town for hellish driving.
Oh man, I'll tell you, I'm glad I'm out of that. But yeah, that's the truth.
Well, see, and that's the thing with these smart contracts. I like Bitcoin, Litecoin, because it's money. It's the gold and silver. It don't have to get up and do a fancy dance for me or be a smart contract or whatever. I see the use for it, but I don't think everything needs to be a smart contract. When it makes sense, then you use it for that, you know. But you know, hey, I like my money to sit there and be boring and do nothing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
The most important thing with Bitcoin and Litecoin, I think, is their deflationary nature, and that's what excites me about it.
Right.
And that's all there is to it. It's the deflationary nature, and if you don't understand that, you're missing the whole point of Bitcoin and Litecoin. And you know, it is programmable money, and it can do some things. It can do a lot of things, and I see what it can do, and it is pretty revolutionary. But you know, it's not. You know, I don't want some world supercomputer to, you know, I've heard about levitating pop machines going to different places where the profit margin is better, you know, just, I mean, really weird things with this stuff. And I mean, people just get weird, you know. I
mean, the thing is that you're not crazy for reading the news. You're not crazy for seeing what's in front of your face. I mean, you have Elon Musk coming out and saying, look, you know, I'm going to start a new company where you're going to upload your brain to the cloud and la-di-da, you're going to be great. It's wonderful.
You sit there and play video games all day.
Yeah, I mean, it's the craziest thing to me. I mean, you see all this stuff happen, but you cannot say that it's happening, because then you're castigated. You're a liar. That's fake, even though it's from the Wall Street Journal or it's the New York Times or CNN or wherever it is. Doesn't matter. And it's all coming to fruition. It's all happening right under our noses, and there will be a backbone for it. Personally, I do believe that Ethereum has the potential to be the backbone for this global surveillance system, this global network of this global computer. I do believe that is a possibility. I don't know if that's still going to be the case or not. There's always other technologies out there, but Ethereum has a very high probability, in my mind, for being a backbone of sorts, personally, because it's easy to control. I mean, you can control Ethereum, even though, and that to me is one of the biggest things. You know, there's not real immutability on the blockchain, on its blockchain. So Ethereum is not. I mean, it's not really immutable, I should say, because they took back the blockchain and said, "Oh, well, you know what? Okay, so we got hacked, $50 million. Okay, that's bad. So let's just roll it back." And let's give you all back your money. But then you lose the whole principle. You lose the whole principle of the blockchain. The whole point is to keep a ledger of exactly of events as they occurred, not as you want them to occur or as the investors want them to occur. It's just the way it is.
Right, and see, that's a thing people got to think about. You know, when a computer goes goofy, you know, when it malfunctions, bad things happen. You know what I'm saying? Chris knows. The other night I've been working on the website, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, and it's tied to the company's email, you know, and I'm sitting there working on it, and I've been putting in a lot of hours on a stupid website because I can't afford somebody else to do it, and so I get there, I get right to the end, and I'm like, okay, it's shutting down. It's about 2 o'clock on Sunday night, and I'm getting tired and delirious, and I do last thing, and oh my gosh, it just deleted. It just vanished. I'm like, oh crap. So I go to write an email and it's like, I go to the email, all the company emails are gone. I'm like, oh no. So 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, everybody's going to be showing up for work, and the boss man just deleted everything that the company runs on, and yes, panic struck in, but computers.
Thank God for backups.
Yes, I think. I don't
Oh
even
yeah,
know.
that was very easy to restore once we figured out how to do it. So
yeah, I think we still got more to do.
Great.
We'll talk about that later.
Exactly.
I bet you weren't tired after that, though. I'll tell you, you probably woke up.
Oh no, I got bug eyes like that, man. I was like, yeah. Yeah, I got some passion real quick, but computers aren't the end all. Smart contracts are cool, but it's the sound money that I'm always been interested in Bitcoin and Litecoin are the gold and silver, and that's just the way it is, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
So
gold and silver is always a good safe haven. You can always, it's almost pretty much always guaranteed. It's going to be there. It's a physical asset. I mean, I own silver. I believe that silver and gold is a good way to store your wealth. Cryptos, it's volatile, but on the overall trend, it'll most likely go up. It just means that you can possibly make more money. But for me, I believe that, like you, that Bitcoin and Litecoin or a good crypto can eventually overtake the current money system, the current monetary system that we have today. I don't know if that'll be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, but with time, there will be a switch to digital money, one way or the other. And it's going to be up to the people to decide what they adopt, what they choose to adopt. Because really, your cash, your dollars is pretty much all digital as it is right now. I mean,
exactly.
When you go, most people use a credit card or a debit card. They don't use cash anymore. They use cash. People use cash. People have cash. But, that's kind of a luxury. That's kind of a luxury, if you want to know the truth about it. And I do think that over time, we will transition even more into this cashless society, where, like in China, you have a credit score or kind of a human score, if you will, where if you don't meet this certain social score or you make a mistake or something like that online, your transactions are tracked. Everything's tracked. You get nicked and you can't buy or sell anything. With Bitcoin, Litecoin, with cryptocurrencies, you don't have to worry about that. Anybody can join and anybody has influence. That's what's so powerful, to me at least, about it, is you take control back from a centralized corporatocracy or government or entity, bank, anything. So it's very powerful. Bitcoin, Litecoin, decentralized technologies, cryptocurrencies is very powerful technology. We all pretty much see that at this point. I think there's a lot of fluff though right now. I think there is a lot of fluff. Oh
yeah.
And, yeah. I mean, I think
it's mostly fluff. I mean, to me, and that's kind of what I was getting at when I was telling you it's boring. It's boring to me. It's just Bitcoin and Litecoin. That's what it is. And, it's kind of like, back before, I mean, how much can you say about it?
Yeah. And we all
talk about gold and silver channels, like, what's it? I can't remember the guy's name. Silver, I can't remember.
Doesn't happen to be Peter Schiff, does it?
No, it's the guy who's always got chickens and he's showing the silver. He is either like tools on a bad day or farm animals. What's his name? Silver.
I'm waiting for somebody to post it to the chat room. I'm watching. It'll happen.
Silver. Man, what was that guy's name? I used to watch him a lot. Silver. Geez, I can't remember. But anyway, so with Bitcoin and Litecoin, I think it's,
Mark Mellon?
No, not dark melon. That's what goes on in my head is a dark melon.
No, Mark Mellon.
Mark Mellon. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, I have a dark melon.
We won't go there.
Yeah, you don't want in. I don't want in. I can't get out.
Silver Futurist. How about that one?
That's who I'm talking
All
about, the
right,
Silver
Dan got it.
Futurist. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like, you can only say so much about gold and silver, and it's, what it is just a chunk of metal,
Yeah.
and the price goes up and the price goes down. That's what it is with Bitcoin and Litecoin. It's just, and the thing is, like with Ethereum, people get excited. Ooh, it's new tech. So Bitcoin and Litecoin, they're obsolete. No, they're not. And what that article in the description is saying, hey, smart contracts can be done on Bitcoin. And you just seen it happen, And that's what I've been saying for years, is that, in time, if you're just patient, geez, come on, let me try to operate my computer. Where is this stupid computer? There we go. But in time, the smart contracts are going to come to Bitcoin and Litecoin. And that's what you're seeing now with that article. And I can't do two things at once, but I'm going to do a screen share, and then everybody's going to get freaked out. And then we're going to go to the article. Look at that. But probably can't see it, can you? I don't know.
I didn't switch over.
Yeah, whatever.
I have one question. I don't know if anybody has brought this up as far as I haven't really seen too many articles, or I haven't seen too many pundits or anything like that really ask the question: could Bitcoin, could Litecoin, could cryptocurrencies, and I'm not saying they will, but is it a possibility that they will end up the same way that the Android open source project did? I don't know if you know the story of the Android open source project, but it's probably been 5, maybe 6, 7 years ago now. I can't even remember. But Android, when it was first developed, it was actually an open source project with the sole intent to be this kind of freeing operating system where you're not tracked, where you're not censored. You don't have to worry about any kind of corporate rule. It's an option other than Apple. At the time you had Apple and BlackBerry, and there wasn't much else. Then Android came out. It was developed by a lot of great open source developers, but over time, money started getting involved, and then Google bought unbelievable amounts of resources to develop on the Android code. So they did, and now you associate Android with Google because they're synonymous. You can't associate Android without Google. You can't associate Google without Android. And I'm wondering if over time, if eventually what is going to happen to what happened to Android open source project is what's going to happen to Bitcoin, Litecoin, and cryptocurrencies. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but I'm a little worried.
Totally possible. People get weird and they think that these things are the answer to everything and all this kind of stuff. And there is no answer to everything. Everything's, you just got this ebb and flow, and everything's good, and then it gets bad, and then it gets good. And it's just, that's the way things are, And, you try and ride the wave, the best you can, That's human nature is what it is.
It is. I don't know if it'll be the same, if it will end up as the same story as Android did, but
probably not, but it might rhyme.
Yeah, it might. It very well might, but I really hope that it doesn't. And I hope the people out there, they take this seriously because it is a very legitimate issue. I really hope that it doesn't come to that, but if it does, believe me, we're going to be in a world of hurt.
And then somebody will come up with something else, and it'll switch over, and
that's the biggest hope. Was it?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I apologize. Go ahead and your article. Did you manage to get that going?
No, I don't know. I don't really care. No, it's just, I don't know. It's just kind of what I've been saying. I seen that article, and Diego Gutierrez down in Argentina, he's the CEO there. They're doing some crazy stuff with crypto. I don't know if you pay attention to those guys. They've got banks down there, and I don't know what they're doing, but it's an interesting RSK Labs. It's an interesting group and an interesting thing that they're doing. But, you know,
Well, a lot of third world countries are developing in crypto. I mean, they're building kind of a cryptocurrency. Venezuela just released their own cryptocurrency, Petro. I mean, it's probably crap. It's probably useless. No one's going to want it. But it is an interesting thing to see that Venezuela, and you can also tie things together. You can see these kind of links come together. You've got Venezuela that's in talks with Russia about paying off their oil debt. Well, it's very possible that Venezuela pays their oil off by offering these cryptocurrencies. I mean, all they're doing is really probably playing the same Ponzi scheme that they've done. And it's the same. So then you've got Russia that has ties to, well, you have Putin more specifically that has ties to Vitalik. You know, Vitalik has spoken with Putin. He's talked about it. He's talked about his platform. And even the Russian government is thinking about developing on the Ethereum blockchain.
right.
And eventually
See,
it's just a slow rolling event.
and that's why I have stuck with Bitcoin and Litecoin from the beginning, because you know what? It's gold and silver. If you know the silver futurist or what position gold and silver play in monetary policy, is it's the great equalizer. You know, if a government prints too much fiat currency, you know, well, you use the gold and silver as a measure, you know, to say, hey, the price of gold's getting high. What's that mean? It means the price of your currency is getting low. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that we all know, even whether we like gold and silver or not, we know what it's saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about with the cryptocurrency. It's like, I don't care about Bitcoin and Litecoin personally. I'm not personally invested or anything like that. But I know when Vitalik is talking to Putin about Ethereum, there might be a vested interest in there, especially with an 80% pre-mine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So to keep everybody honest, you know, it's a reality. It's been invented, and screw it. I'm sticking with the gold and silver. If you want to go with your little crap coin that's doing whatever it's doing, great, but don't try to come to me and try and convince me of it, because I ain't hearing it. You just have to convert it into Bitcoin and Litecoin, because I know what they are, and then I'll talk to you, you know, because I'm a truck driver and I'm running a business, and I don't have time to hear about every little stupid ICO ripoff that's out there, you know, or whatever. I just don't care. You know, there's more important things.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. I will say this, though. There is something to be said about some of these ICO. Well, not a lot of them, but there is something to be said about some of these other cryptocurrencies. Like one of my personal favorites, which I've kind of promoted just every once in a while, is Made Safe. Made Safe is really interesting.
But that wasn't even, that's not necessarily even a cryptocurrency. That was predated Bitcoin. I mean, that was a concept, you know, that before, of a decentralized internet. I love that. I mean, I like MadeSafe, but their coin, I don't know necessarily about their coin. They should just use Bitcoin and Litecoin. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
I don't think it necessarily makes too much sense as far as, you know, their currency, but they got to validate. They have to reward you somehow for validating their network, for keeping their network maintained.
Right.
So they can't, you know, you can't necessarily knock them for creating their own currency. For that.
No.
It would be, I mean, you couldn't do it on the Litecoin blockchain, or you couldn't do it on the blockchain network, because it's an entirely different protocol.
But see, and that's what RSK is. It's a side chain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's not, and the RSK token doesn't have a value. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a valueless token, but it works with Bitcoin, and that's where I see it can work with the Bitcoin and the Litecoin things. You know, just do a side chain. If you do a side chain on these two things, you know, that's what SegWit's for. You know, the on ramps and off ramps, so you can get on these side chains and do things and interact.
I'm interested in side chains. I just don't know. I don't know the feasibility of actually enacting them. It makes sense, but I mean, are people going to fully understand what rootstock is? I mean, are the masses going to know what it is? Are they going to know how to use it?
Well, see, I think
it's simple to use.
I think what it is like you start your business, right? And then you develop your software, you know, that would be compatible. It would be like developing your software for Ethereum, but it's using the same kind of thing. So that'll all of the like augurs and stuff. Augur can be used on RSK, and then you can use Bitcoin and Litecoin. Not Litecoin yet, but in time you'll be able to use Litecoin. So that's the gold and silver. So I mean, so you download an app on your phone. You don't have to fully. You don't even have to know who RSK is for that to be working. It's just the way it does underneath the skin. I mean, I don't know what HTML and HTTPS or what any of this stuff is, but I know it works. I mean, I'm talking to you now, but I don't know half of the companies that are involved in making this happen. You know what I'm saying?
True. Very true. That's a big one. That is a big one. That's what made the internet so great is people don't necessarily understand the back end of it. They don't necessarily understand what makes the internet work 100%, but they know it works. They don't have to worry about go ahead.
I want it to work.
Exactly. That's it. And then that's when, if it doesn't work, that's where people like us come in. Isn't that right, Chris?
Oh yeah, they'll freak out. I was looking at Coin Market Cap here back to a couple minutes ago. We're up to over 1,500. It's 1,569 different. Well, if you want to call them altcoins, then take one off for Bitcoin. So 1,568 different altcoins listed there. I guess I don't know what the best site to show. What all's out there. But yeah, back to the more current topic. Just talking about Bitcoin and Litecoin to my coworkers and the friends and family, and people just they look at you like you got three heads. So those of us on here, we understand a lot of it, but the general public right now, I'd say they're kind of lost. Not a lot of people are really into this yet. There's still a huge upside, if you will, if we can get the rest of the freaking world involved.
It's still young. It's still a developing technology. It took the internet probably 20, 30 years before it really came into its own, I mean,
true.
It took a long time. It did take a while, but the rate of innovation and the rate of development and adoption has increased significantly because of the internet. With Bitcoin, Litecoin, it will probably follow a exponential growth curve, similar to what the markets look like now. Granted, and I don't know if anybody knows who Ray Kurzweil is, but he's one of the head developers at Google. He talks about how there's an exponential growth curve of innovation, invention, and Bitcoin is following a similar path. It goes up, it goes, and you can even see it in the markets. It grows, the innovation goes through the roof, all this new technology is coming through, but then it comes out in the wash. All the BS, all the fluff, all the nonsense, it all comes out in the end, and then what's good sticks around. Probably like RSK will probably be one of those technologies that stick around. But, stuff like all these altcoins and all these ICOs, they're not going to be around. I mean,
good test things, and one thing I want to say before we get off here, it's starting to get boring with Bitcoin and Litecoin, and the prices are going down. It's starting to get discouraging. And let me tell you something. When I first got into Bitcoin and Litecoin, Bitcoin went up to $1,000, and I was like, whoa, this was 2014, something like that.
I think it was like 2013 when that happened.
Yeah, and I was like, Litecoin's going to be awesome. It was at $40, and then started going down, and that just like it is now, and it went all the way down to $1.80. And I was buying it at $3.80 and just tucking it away. This is what I'm telling you, man. The excitement's gone, and the price is going down. This is the time to start buying, and start buying and holding it in 3 years, and just keep figuring out how you can use it in the industry that you're in. So on that note, I think we're gonna end this broadcast. It was way too long and way too boring, but it was fun, and I don't know, I like shaking up Ethereum and calling it out and all that kind of stuff, But other than that, anybody got any parting words?
We're going to get you a nice web camera with a microphone built in.
Who, me? That's great, because I won't know how to use it. It'll just
That'll work.
Yeah. All right. Well, adios, muchachos. We're out of here.
See
If
ya.
I can figure out how to hit